It was supposed to be a feel-good moment, just another romantic interlude during Coldplay's world tour stop at Gillette Stadium in Boston. But when the camera panned to a particular couple in the audience, the crowd saw something different. A man and a woman flinched on the Jumbotron. He looked down. She covered her face. And on stage, Chris Martin chuckled awkwardly, saying, either they're having an affair, or they're very shy. Within minutes, that 8-second moment went viral. But the real shock came when internet sleuths identified the couple. Andy Byron, CEO of data infrastructure company Astronomer, and Kristin Cabot, the company's chief people officer. Neither of them are single, and both are married to other people. The clip has since been viewed millions of times across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. But this isn't just internet gossip. Byron leads a tech firm that works with NASA and high-security federal contracts. And now, his personal life, especially his alleged relationship with a subordinate, is threatening to tear down the company's leadership. Astronomer's board has gone silent. Employees are circulating internal messages. And HR departments across the tech world are asking, what happens when corporate leadership is caught, not by a whistleblower, but by a concert camera? This was no ordinary PDA. It may be the most public workplace scandal the tech industry has seen since Uber's Susan Fowler revelations. Until this week, Andy Byron was considered one of the quieter power players in Silicon Valley. A former security executive at Palo Alto Networks and president of Signal FX, he took over as CEO of Astronomer in 2021. The Cincinnati-based startup specializes in open-source data pipeline software, complex tools that help companies like NASA, Adobe, and the U.S. Air Force organize and analyze data. Under Byron's leadership, Astronomer raised over $200 million in funding. His public persona was minimal. No flashy keynotes, no bombastic tweets. That's what made him trustworthy in high-security sectors. He was the operations guy who got things done behind the scenes. Kristin Cabot, on the other hand, joined Astronomer as chief people officer in 2022. A Harvard graduate and former VP at Visa, she quickly became one of the most influential internal voices at the company. Known for championing employee mental health and pay equity, her sudden appearance on the Kiss Cam has jolted the very values she was hired to protect. Neither Byron nor Cabot have made public statements since the video went viral. But what's complicating matters is not just the personal dynamic, it's the power imbalance. Byron is Cabot's direct superior. In most corporate environments, that raises immediate red flags for HR compliance, ethics policies, and even fiduciary responsibility. What began as a viral meme is now snowballing into something much larger, a potential corporate crisis involving board accountability, equity risks, and professional boundaries. Internally, sources report the atmosphere at Astronomer is nervous and silent. While leadership has not issued a formal statement, employees are sharing Slack messages, internal posts, and even screenshots of unsent drafts. The biggest concern, was this relationship known? And if so, what was being done about it? Employees are reportedly frustrated. Several joined Astronomer because of its inclusive, forward-thinking culture. Seeing two of the highest-ranking executives embroiled in a scandal, possibly violating the very HR policies they wrote, has triggered concerns of hypocrisy, favoritism, and unequal accountability. One employee anonymously posted, "It's not about the kiss. It's about trust. If they can bend the rules, what's stopping anyone else?" At the same time, investors are watching closely. Astronomer is still privately held, but it has federal clients and long-term contracts that demand ethical compliance. Any perception of internal chaos or blurred lines between personal and professional conduct could threaten future partnerships. So far, the board has neither confirmed nor denied the identities shown in the Kiss Cam footage. But silence, in the age of transparency, is being read as complicity. Legal analysts are now questioning whether a violation of company policy, especially one involving a C-suite relationship, could trigger breach of contract clauses or lead to employment litigation. If the board was aware of the relationship and failed to act, liability could extend far beyond bad PR. In essence, what looked like an embarrassing concert moment is now a case study in corporate governance, and how quickly things can unravel in a world of ubiquitous cameras. Online, the scandal has taken on a life of its own. On TikTok, the video is captioned, "When you try your best, but you don't succeed," with Coldplay's ballad playing in the background. On Reddit, users are dissecting the couple's every micro-expression. And on Twitter, hashtags like #KissCamAffair and #ColdplayCaught are trending globally. What's striking is how quickly the internet turned into a tribunal. Within hours, people not only identified Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot, they unearthed wedding photos, LinkedIn posts, even screenshots from all-hands meetings where they appeared on the same stage. But public opinion is far from unanimous. Some users argue that personal lives should stay private, especially when nothing is explicitly confirmed. Others contend that executives in leadership roles, especially in HR, must be held to higher standards since they're entrusted with enforcing the very boundaries they may have crossed. The meme economy, meanwhile, is exploding. Dozens of parody videos, dramatic reenactments, and AI-generated spoofs have already flooded feeds. Some are funny, others are brutal. What's getting lost in the noise, though, is nuance. These are two real people with families, colleagues, and careers now under siege. Not by a whistleblower or a news outlet, but by a stadium cam and a global fan base. In a world where one moment can be shared millions of times in minutes, the Coldplay incident is forcing new questions. Who owns the narrative? When does a meme become defamation? And what happens when truth, optics, and ethics collide? As of today, neither Byron nor Kristin Cabot has issued a response. Astronomer's website and LinkedIn pages remain unchanged. But behind the scenes, crisis meetings are almost certainly underway. The company's board will be under immense pressure to act. Most likely, that begins with an internal investigation. If the relationship is confirmed and found to violate policy, it could lead to resignations or even terminations. Not because of the relationship itself, but because of potential conflicts of interest, misuse of authority, and reputational damage. For other tech companies, this is a wake-up call. The irony is unmistakable. A firm dedicated to clarity and data integrity is now embroiled in a scandal exposed by nothing but facial expressions on a jumbotron. The Coldplay moment also reopens a larger conversation. What happens when professional boundaries are ignored at the top? Especially in tech, where startup cultures often blur lines between work and personal life. It's a lesson in how quickly blurred boundaries can become breaking points. It's possible both Byron and Cabot survived this, at least legally. But the trust, both internally and publicly, may take years to rebuild. Ultimately, this isn't just about a kiss or a meme. It's about leadership, integrity, and how even the most private missteps can become public flashpoints in a hyper-connected world.